Hi, Caleb with Brownells here. Today we're going to be going over the install and the features of the SB Tactical 1022 chassis system. Now this chassis system comes in two varieties, the standard, which we're going to be doing here, and also the takedown, which we have available in another video. So before we get to the install, let's go over some of the features. So on the chassis itself, it's made out of one solid piece of polymer with a metal block inserted in the rear. So starting at the front here, you have the M-LOK slots on three of the sides here. And on the back here, you have this 1913 interface, which you can use to mount any standard 1913 stock or brace. And then moving on from there, you have this interface, which you can use to mount any standard AR-15 grip. And the one it actually comes with is going to be the Reptilia grip. And then moving through this whole metal block that's on the inside of the actual chassis itself, that goes to the mounting system where the receiver mounts. It actually mates up against this metal block, so a nice rigid construction overall. So one last feature I really want to point out on this is actually going to be the top plates. It comes with two different top plates. You have just a standard top plate barrel cover, and then you have a 1913 top plate barrel cover. So you can go either way with this. I think for this build, since we're going to be using a receiver mounted optic, we're just going to go ahead and do the standard just plain barrel cover on this one. So let's get started. So as I mentioned before, the grip mounts just as it does on the AR-15 platform. So what we're going to go ahead and do is take our Reptilia grip, push it onto the chassis. Then we're going to take our 5/32 hex wrench and our supplied screw, put it on the wrench, and insert it, and just hand tighten that down into the chassis. Right, tighten that down nice and snug. Okay. Now from here, what we need to do is go ahead and drop the action, the barreled action, into the chassis. So what we're going to need to do, and since we're picking this up now, we'll go ahead and verify that it is indeed still unloaded. Right, and here, if you've ever installed any kind of 1022 receiver in a stock or chassis, you'll know that you need to put this selector in the middle position before you can drop it in. Now, what you need to do is come in from the top. And before I do this, I'll show you here that you have this shelf on the back of your receiver, then you have this gap, and then you have a shelf on the back of your fire control group. Now that metal block that we made reference to earlier is going to sit in the middle of that. So whenever we drop it in, we need to come in at an angle to ensure that that block cams right into there. Alright, so what we're going to do, right, and come at an angle just like this. And it's going to go in pretty tight, and that's perfectly normal. Alright, just like that. Alright, now so what we need to do is put in our stock screw, or our action screw, and that's going to go in this hole right here. And you're going to use the same screw that came with your 1022 receiver. That one's not going to be included, so you can use your Ruger factory screw, or you can use any aftermarket screws such as Volquartsen or any of those other brands. Will work just fine. Alright, so we'll take our takedown screw and our 5/32 wrench, and we'll just thread that right through the chassis and into the receiver, and tighten that down nice and snug. So at this point, we're going to go ahead and install our brace, or stock if your barrel is longer than 16 inches, or if you're doing a SBR. Ours is just short of 16 inches, and ours is not an SBR, so we will be using a brace. So what we're going to do is slide it over this 1913 interface here, just like so. And then using this 9/64 wrench, we'll tighten down that screw. And the brace is now installed. Now we can move on to putting on that top plate. Now to put on the top plate, it's only going to go on one way. Notice that the front of it actually has a slant to it, and the rear of it is flat. It has indexing tabs on the bottom, so it will only go on one way if you try to put it on wrong. So we'll just go ahead and set it on top here. And using the provided screws and a Phillips head screwdriver, we'll just tighten those on down. And that's all there is to it. That completes the actual installation and build process for the SB Tactical Chassis and folding brace. So the SB Tactical Chassis system is an excellent setup, especially for, you know, a bag gun, anything like that. You know, keep it under the seat of your truck and in your hunting bag, go bag. Excellent, excellent package. So this was designed in conjunction with Unity Tactical. And, you know, as far as folders go, it's a super easy system to use. You can just fold it, throw it in your bag, and you're ready to go. So the SB Tactical Chassis system, as I mentioned before, this also comes in the takedown variant. And if you have any questions on the install on either versions, feel free to give us a call on the tech line. And as always, feel free to leave us any comments down below. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next time.